to your Thursday's maths lesson. So on Monday we began to look at money, we looked at the different coins, and we looked at making an amount by using different coins. Today we are going to focus more on adding certain amounts of money together and converting pounds into pence. At the end of today's lesson there will be a worksheet for you to work on at home. But before we get to there, I'm just going to go through a few different points that we need to remember when we are working with money. To start, how many pence are there in £1? So in £1, how many pennies are in £1? Who can remember from last lesson? Good, there are 100 pennies in £1. Okay, so if I then put £1.50, so £1 and 50p, how many pennies are in £1 and 50p? 150. Well done if you got that right. Because if we look at this, look, so we know in £1 there are 100 pennies. So in this bit here, there are 100 pennies. Now over here, we've only got 50p because that says 50p. If it comes after the decimal point, it means pennies, okay? So we've got £1 whole and 50 pennies. 100p and 50p equals 150p. So if I put £2 on the board, how many pennies are there in £2? So in £1 there is 100 pennies, and then in £2 there are 200 pennies. Okay, so if I put £2, so £2 decimal point, and then I'm going to put 20p, £2 and 20p, how many pennies are there in £2 and 20p? So if £2 equals 200p, so this bit here equals 200 pennies. How many have we got after the decimal point? How many pennies have we got after the decimal point? 20, haven't we? There we go. So add those two together equals 220 pennies. Okay, or if you are super clever, you have noticed what you can also do. You can also take away the decimal point and take away the pound, and then you've got 220p. I don't know if you spotted that. I guess it makes it a little bit easier for you to understand and for you to visualise, but you must remember that in £1 there are 100 pennies. So let's move on to adding amounts together now. So when you are buying stuff from the shop, this will come in handy because you'll be able to figure out how much all of your items are worth and how much money you need to be able to pay for them. So it's really important to remember that when we're talking about money or when we're reading how much certain amounts are, the decimal point is really, really important. For example, if I had 25p, we need to remember it like our hundreds, tens and units column. So our hundreds is our pounds column, okay? And then we've got our decimal point. And then our tens and our units column is our pence columns. So, for example, 25p, how many pounds has 25p got in it? 0. And then we need to remember to put our decimal point. So, £0. And then we've got 25p. So we put 20 because there's 2 tens and 5 in the units because there are 25. There we go. Or how you can write that is simply just like this. You don't actually need to put this over here, And then you don't need to put your decimal point there because 25 and then you've got the p there. Now, if you're not going to put your decimal point or your pounds, you must remember to put this p here because that means pence. If you don't put the pence there, it could be £25, it could be 25 elephants, it could be 25 beetles. You don't know, do you? You must remember to put that pence there if it's 25p. Or put your pound, 0, decimal point, 2, 5. And that equals the same, but that's quite a long way of writing it down. Okay, so let's move on to adding amounts of money together. So, from the shop, I want to buy a pen and I want to buy a teddy bear, okay? The pen is 50p and the teddy is 25p. So the pen's 50p and the teddy is 25p. So I need to figure out how much money I need in order to buy the pen and the teddy. Can you work it out? Can you pause the video here and have a go at adding them together? Okay, let's try and add these together. And so I'm going to put my hundreds, tens and units at the top. 50p, I know it's pence, so it needs to go this side of the decimal point. So 50, 0 pounds for the teddy, decimal point, and then we've got 25p. Okay, so let's figure out how much money I need altogether to be able to buy these two items. So units, 0, add 5. Oh, I need to put my add over here, don't I? I forgot to do that. 0, add 5 is 5, good. 5, add 2 is 7. Decimal point, 0, because 0 in there. I need to remember to put my decimal point in. So what's my answer? 75 what? 75p. And then that means that I then don't need to write any of that down there. Well done if you work that out. Let's do a few more together. So this time I'm going to have a lolly. So I want a lolly, which is going to be 35p. And then I want a toy car, which is going to be £1.50. Okay, so now we're starting to see some pounds creeping in. We've got that extra column. Let's add these two together then. So I'm going to put my hundreds, then my decimal point, then my tens, then my units. Right, okay, which one is the biggest number out of those? Which one is the biggest amount? £1.50. Okay, so how many pounds have I got? 1, good. Then I need to put my decimal point, look. And then we've got 50. And now I'm just going to put my pound over here so I remember what we're working with. And then we've got 35p. How do I write 35p? How many pounds are in 35p? None. Then I put my decimal point. And then 35. And I'm just going to put my p there so I can remember. There we go. Units column, we remember we always start at units column. Units, ooh, forgotten that again. I'm not having very much luck today. Units, 0 add 5. 0 add 5 is 5, good. Tens, 5 add 3 is 8. Then I need to put my decimal point because that's what comes next when I go along. Then my hundreds or my pounds column. £1 add 0 pounds is £1, and then we must remember to put that pound coin because we have actually got something in our pounds column now. We've got something this side of the decimal. So your answer is £1.85. Big well done if you got that right. If you are finding this a little bit tricky and you need to go and find some coins, then that is absolutely fine because that will really help you to visually see and count out how much the amount is. So just like in all the other lessons, here are the questions that I would like you to have a go at answering. Section A is the easiest, and then it works up and gets more challenging as it goes along. Start at section A and work yourself across the different letters. Push yourself to as far as you can go at home. I'm obviously not there to support you, but I'm sure your parents will help you if you need any extra help. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow to bake Millie's cookies.